Hello, and welcome back to Shite Talk, Season 2. This is Jason. Kevin's still down in Australia. I'm going to try to keep this intro particularly short because, as you can probably hear from my voice, I'm incredibly sick. And I just want to say a quick thank you for everyone who's been following us on social media channels and everyone, all of the people who found us through Reddit, seeing as we've started publicising the podcast on there. That's been fun. But yeah, thankfully we do batch record all of these when we're around each other, so thankfully you won't have to deal with this voice for the rest of the podcast. I'll leave it there. Enjoy Nellie Cashman, the angel of Cassiar.
You can dig your own damn grave. I ain't trying to fight, but I ain't ducking either. I got fucking Easter, armored desert eagle. Lost what I love, cause the world is so evil. So I don't mind shooting slugs at you fucking people. Got a 6-shooter like I was back in Tombstone. And I ain't gonna die tonight, but you gon' have a funeral. Dressed in all black, flowers on the Cadillac. Biggie said it best, death ain't no coming back. And Doc Holliday said you ain't no Daisy.
Pretty as a Victorian cameo when necessary, and tougher than 2 penny nails. What was the nicest compliment you got this week?
I don't know. No one's complimented me in a long time.
Yeah, I'll be honest now, that wasn't for me. That was said about Nellie Cashman, or as I should say, Ellie or Ellen Cashman, most commonly known as Nellie. She was born in Queenstown, Cork, or Middleton, or Cove. No, it gets ridiculous at this stage. We've talked about this enough on the podcast. History doesn't exist because everyone's forgotten to write everything down.
She was born in one of places in Cork.
One of 3 places in Cork. Yeah.
Wait, go back to the quote again. What the hell does that mean?
Pretty as a Victorian cameo.
Like she showed up in Tudor films.
Yeah.
What's a Victorian cameo?
I would have imagined like
Stan Lee
on stage, like as some sort of like a Shakespeare.
Okay.
She looked like a man in drag.
Sure. All right. And then what's the next bit? Tough as 2 penny nails.
Pretty as a Victorian cameo. And when necessary.
When necessary.
Tougher than 2 penny nails.
Now, is that a nail that costs 2 pennies, or is it 2 1-penny nails?
I think back in the day, pennies were stronger because they don't make them like they used to.
Nah, not like the old days, Jay.
Technically, they don't make them at all now.
No, I guess not.
But anyway, it was 1845, before I forget.
Sure.
Her dad died when she was only 5, so her mother brought her and her sister to America when the famine hit.
Cowards, but okay.
First settling in Boston before relocating to Washington. It was there that Nellie got her first job. She worked as a lift operator in a hotel where she would overhear conversations about politics and supposedly met Ulysses S. Grant.
Oh, yeah.
Do you hear
the general.
No, that was Martin Cahill. He was a vice president for 8 years and commander of the army under Lincoln.
Yeah.
He told her to go west.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
So how long does the lift take to operate? He probably was in there for like 2 seconds. It's like, hey, kid, go west.
It's shit here.
It's shit here. Washington, it's a swamp. Get out of here.
Although it's just, well, she's already used to travelling at that stage.
Yeah. But she's gone from
already
Queenstown to Cove.
Hey, go west. It's like, I've come from Ireland. I've gone about as far west as I can already.
Don't keep pushing me.
Yeah, but
a lift operator? So you just like pull the lever, lift goes up.
Yeah, probably.
Make some small talk.
That was a thing. That's still a thing. I was going to say it's still a thing now. It's just because I was watching Mad Men again recently.
Yeah, it's still a thing on television about times that don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
I might start doing that in my lift. Just hang out all day.
Her and her sister listened to Ulysses S. Grant as shortly
Wait, how many of them are in the lift? Is it a family job?
I imagine she would have went home and said, hey, I was talking to Ulysses S. Grant. He told us to go west.
That? Okay, yeah.
So shortly afterwards, Nellie and her sister Frances, or Fanny Cashman.
Yeah. No notes.
No notes. Just leaving that hang there for you.
Hanging Fanny Cashman. That's my rapper name.
Fanny Cashman.
Yeah, Fanny Cashman on the ones and twos.
But they used their savings to travel across the country, landing in San Francisco in the mid to late 1860s.
Ulysses S. Grant should stop telling people to go. People obviously put a lot of weight in what he says. Use their savings to travel across the... Alright.
Well, he was vice president.
Sure.
Yeah, so you would listen to him. If the vice president of the country is saying, go out there, it's way better.
Who's the vice president of Ireland? One of Michael's dogs.
Possibly. We should have a vice president.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. It was over in San Francisco. Fanny met a man, got married, and started a family.
It's a tale as old as time.
Man marries for Fanny. Started a family.
Not for cash.
Well, both.
Yeah,
technically. Yeah. They started a family, but that wasn't the life for Nellie. Having heard the great tales of the Wild West and the gold rush, she began to take up jobs as a cook all over Nevada in places like Virginia City and Pioche. I'm going to guess that's how that's pronounced.
Pinoche. So she heard stories about the gold rush.
Yeah.
Or people dug up gold out of the ground with pickaxes for gold
Yes.
and became a chef.
She went out there, yeah.
Why?
Because, well, it's the 1860s. She would have been stuck in the kitchen.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah. But no, she went out, started the job as a cook. You'll get it. Don't
Yeah,
be giving me
sorry.
that.
That's true. Yeah.
Give me a second to flesh this story out. She saved up her money.
What's this Act 1 bullshit, Jason? Where's the payoff?
I'm setting up a tone.
Okay.
She saved up her money, but instead of travelling again, this time she set up her own miners' boarding house at a place called Panaca Flat in Nevada.
Cool.
In 1872.
A boarding house for people under 18. I like it.
Yeah, it's the world's first ever youth hostel.
There you go.
But it said that she was always very caring and kind to the miners, who she would often feed and board if they had no money, and look after those who fell ill.
Good. Okay. Bad business model, but good human model.
Yeah. She would move from town to town, setting up more of these businesses, doing a little prospecting.
Sure.
And looking after the miners. Prospecting, if you want to explain it for people who are idiots.
It's like speculating, but in the ground.
Yes.
For gold.
She...
You have to wear like a braces and a pickaxe and say "Yeehaw"
Now,
and dem their mountains.
I was going to say, for some reason, and I don't know why, I have a feeling why I wrote this, because I just said there, I made a little note that said she's doing a little prospecting and looking after the miners, much like an anti-Thatcher.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough.
In 1874, gold was discovered in the Cassiar Mountains in British Columbia, Canada. Nellie joins up with about 200 miners, heading up that way, and sets up a shop in Telegraph Creek.
Cool. That's so far away. Isn't San Francisco like ripe with gold?
No,
That's the other side of the continent.
She was in Nevada.
Oh, okay. Still, it's very doesn't.
Oh yeah, she just went up north, but that's a thing back then, I guess.
Sure.
But she's a devout Catholic, always looking to help out those with less than her. So she had the idea that she wanted to build a hospital in nearby Victoria.
Yeah.
So the miners love her. What with her being, she's dead sound.
It's dead on. Like, you
Dead
get
sound,
to stay there for free.
Yeah.
If you get sick, she'll take care of you.
Food,
Yeah.
great. But so they all chip in. They pay it back, paying it forward. Eventually, she saves up enough and delivers $500 to the Sister of St. Anne so they can build St. Joseph's Hospital.
For $500?
Yeah, but it is the 1860s.
Yeah, fair enough. Someone should tell Owen Murphy. Oh, that's the wrong guy. Couldn't remember who it actually is.
Yeah, you're talking about the Children's Hospital.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who's in charge of that?
Satire.
Yes. Satire himself.
While
Jean-Paul Satire.
While there, she heard that 26 miners had been stranded in a snowstorm back at Cassiar Mountain. So she organises 6 men and a number of animals carrying about 1,500 pounds of supplies to accompany her on a rescue mission. Now, conditions on the mountain were said to be so poor at the time that the Canadian Army had refused to attempt a rescue mission.
Both of them. The two guys wouldn't go.
John and Paul. Bastards.
And Philippe, nowhere to be found.
However, when the army found out about Nellie's rescue mission, they sent up a bunch of soldiers after her so they could bring her. They could bring her back to safety.
A literal bunch. The
two.
whole army was out.
But she's so stubborn that when they catch up with her, she refuses to return without the stranded miners and pushes on. It takes her 77 days at points.
Jesus.
At points treading through up to 10 feet of snow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I don't know how that happens, because
10 feet of snow. Luckily it had melted though, so she swam.
she was a giant.
Yes, that's the real... Oh yeah, did you not mention that at the start?
No, I should have said she's 42 foot tall.
My God.
Yeah. They don't make them like they used to. Turns out it wasn't 26 miners. In the end, it was actually 75 miners that were stuck up there.
Okay.
They weren't in the best of ways, but
No.
she nursed them all back to health, giving them heaps of vitamin C to help their scurvy. And this event gave her the nickname the Angel of Cassiar. In the late 1870s, there was a strike at the Cassiar Mountains, and Nellie finally moved on again, this time down to Tucson.
You're talking about a gold strike rather than the mountain went on strike.
Yes, I imagine so.
Yeah, fair. That makes more sense.
Yeah. No. There was a strike, so the miners probably went on strike.
Oh, miners. What did they want? Fucking to go home once every 7 days.
For Thatcher to fucking piss off.
Thatcherite economics have no place in 1870 mining town, Canada.
So she ends up going down to Tucson, which was founded by an Irishman, Hugh O'Connor, 100 years previous. I'll say that now because I don't know what order we're releasing these podcasts in, and I have a story about him. But she opened the Delmonico restaurant, the first business in town that was ever owned by a woman. In 1880, she sold up and heading towards the silver rush in the San Pedro Valley, and then to the next silver hotspot, not gold this time.
Sure.
A little old town called Tombstone, Arizona.
That's...
Home.
Did an Irishman name that as well?
No, but well, possibly. But home to the famous Tombstone. Val Kilmer played him in the movie. In the other movie, was it Kevin Costner in White Earp? Do you know Doc Holliday and the Earp brothers?
The Earp brothers.
Do you know nothing about that? No, I assumed you would.
Oh no.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I suppose you didn't have my dad as a father.
Oh yeah, you forget that me and you. When you think about your childhood, that was you. That wasn't me.
Yeah, I'm forever confusing that.
Yeah. Memory.
I distinctly remember being shite at sports.
Yeah.
Oh no, that was me again.
That was you. Yeah. Tombstone, Arizona.
Yeah. So she set up a shoe store, and I actually had planned a good 10-minute dialogue there about Earp and Doc Holliday. You've no
idea. But
all right.
People at home might know.
We've silent producer Dan here. Do you know anything about Doc Holliday? I suppose he is silent. He can't answer that.
No.
He's also saying no to me.
He's shaking his head.
Listeners, just know that you've missed out.
You can say it like
Nah.
this whole thing is you telling me a story I don't know.
No,
Why is this?
I wanted it to be a bit of a back and forth, Kev. I wanted to have zingers, you know.
You tell the
I wanted
story,
you to give it to me just as good as I gave it. But that's not going to happen now, is it?
Okay.
You uncultured so-and-so.
I'll pretend to know the story. Tell me the story. Tell me the story.
They're famous lawmen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
In the
the
West.
Earp brothers. Yeah.
In the West.
Lawyers, yeah.
Yeah. But so she set up a...
Legal folk.
Yes.
In the courtroom and the like. I know them well.
Go-
Doc Holliday was their father.
Go watch both of those movies right now. We'll pick up the podcast in 4 hours.
Okay.
Actually, I think White Earp's about 3 hours, 4 hours long on its own.
Jesus.
Yeah. She set up a shoe store and opened up another restaurant, the Russ House. The big advertising campaign slogan, now you'll enjoy this: "There are no cockroaches in my kitchen, and the floors are clean."
No fuss at Russ.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Russ House.
Which, to be fair, at the time for miners, that probably was a
That
good
is
selling
pretty good,
point.
actually. Yeah. The only cockroaches here are the management and the ones in the fridge.
See, it's zingers like that is what I wanted about Doc Holliday.
Doc Holliday. No, I got nothing.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
According to a popular legend, a client once complained about Cashman's cooking. Fellow diner Doc Holliday drew his pistol, asking the customer to repeat what he had said. The man said, "Best I ever ate."
And that's, when you say Doc Holliday there, you mean famous lawman from Tombstone, Arizona, Doc Holliday.
Yes, exactly. That's what I wanted. Just
Yeah.
a slight bit of knowledge.
He knows the Earp brothers, doesn't he? So, wait, is he a lawman? Did he pull a gun on a customer?
Yeah, because he said, "I don't like this food." He's like, "You shut your mouth right now. This is the West."
Opinions, if they're not mine, you get shot in the... That's sort of the West now as
Hey,
well.
the kitchen's clean. There's no cockroaches. Shut your mouth and eat your food.
This is the best. We don't know how good we have it.
But again, she's mad for raising money to build stuff.
Sure.
This time a church, but until it's ready, they have nowhere to hold mass. So she convinces the owners of a bar called the Crystal Palace Saloon, one of the owners was White Earp, to allow the mass to
One of
take...
the Earp brothers.
Yeah, one of the famous
Yeah.
Earp brothers.
They
Lawmen.
knew Doc Holliday, didn't they?
Yeah, and do you know where that was based?
It was Tombstone, Arizona,
There we
I think,
go.
if memory serves.
But yeah, so he would allow, but White Earp would allow mass to take place there on a Sunday until the church was finished.
Sure.
Now, she raised money for the Salvation Army as well, the Red Cross, the Miners' Hospital. She also raised money for the local amateur theatre and for the actors to stage performances. Also, she would take lots of these donations from people in the town's red light district.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, she'd take donations in the red light district.
She'd go down there and then everyone would just give her money.
Yeah.
She was loved. She's
Well, sure.
a seedy Christian, but a great Christian.
That's the best kind of Christian.
Yeah.
You know who else hung out with, lepers and prostitutes? My dad. He's not a very Christian man, but I thought it was relevant.
Being such a well-known devout Christian, when the Bisbee massacre occurred in December 1883. Now, you don't know what that is.
No, I know that Doc Holliday wasn't there.
Well, you'll know that I will also get to it now in a second.
I don't know
I'm
how
not
stories work.
I'm not just going to leave that hanging there. That's
Okay.
I expected you to understand who the Earp brothers were. I don't expect you to know what the Bisbee massacre is. But,
Yeah,
Doug Stanhope does live in Bisbee, though.
Does he? Was he involved?
No,
he had a
this
strong alibi for
this
this?
was probably 90 years before he was born.
Convenient.
But the massacre was a bank robbery that went wrong. A few deaths occurred, and everyone involved was caught and brought to Tombstone for sentencing. It was national news, and because of the attention it was receiving, a clever businessman erected a grandstand to hang the prisoners from, and was selling tickets for the locals to see it, up to $1.50 a pop for the best seats.
That's pretty good.
Now, one of the men, a Cork man named Dan Kelly, befriended Nellie in the days leading up to the trial. She would, again, nice Christian, she'd go down and help everyone. She actually heard...
Help them set up for, the execution, public execution.
Help them soothe their worries about being hung,
Oh.
But she heard the confessions of two of the men, of the criminals sentenced to hanging. I don't know if they had a priest around at the time.
Yeah, they just this'll do.
Yeah, she's nice. She can be the priest.
Is there a priest in the house? Failing that, a nice woman.
Yeah, so he became friends with her. Obviously, confessed and all that stuff to her.
Bit late to become friends.
Well, hold on now.
Oh, okay.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
This was the fact that she was friends with him, and the fact that she hated the idea of people charging to see men hung, made Nellie decide to gather up a few miners and then chop the shite out of the grandstand the day of the hangings.
Okay.
Yeah, so this caused a giant row, and a mini riot broke out in the town. Now, the men were eventually hung, but there were no tickets sold, and Kelly was to receive his punishment with his final words before his eventual death drop being, "Let her loose," which is
It's pretty good.
a Cork man, fair play.
Yeah. If you were about to be hung, what would your final words be?
"Swing low, sweet chariot," or "Jesus, it's awful windy."
This is fierce windy. Swing low, sweet chariot. People would probably confuse it for a British rugby fan.
Yeah, I didn't think that true. Now, Nellie's said to have hired miners to watch the bodies after they'd been hung, to protect them from thieves and body snatchers. They minded their bodies for 10 days in the local morgue before they were eventually buried.
Okay. What the hell are they going to steal from 3 convicted hung criminals? What are they going to have?
Gold rings, gold teeth.
Gold teeth? Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Their
Can't lose those
souls.
when you're going to the grave. Yeah, just rob their souls.
A year after that, she saved a local mine owner when workers banded together and wanted to lynch him to death over wage and labour issues. That mine owner's name? Margaret Thatcher. Driving her horse and cart into the crowd, she saved the owner and drove him off to the town of Benson and to safety. Not a town, just...
Benson and Safety was the name of the town. He was lynched later that day.
Nellie's sister, Fanny Cashman.
Fanny Cashman.
She making a reappearance. She became a widower in the early 1880s and died herself of TB not long after, leaving Nellie to raise 5 children.
Yeah.
At some point, not sure before or after she started raising the kids, she made a trip to Baja,
California, with technically Mexico before the US stole it. She went there for an unsuccessful gold rush. At one point, 20 prospectors were lost and stuck in the desert, with Nellie being the only one who could go on the hunt for water. She made her way to an old mission because God.
Sure.
And a kindly old padre filled up her canteens, thus saving all the prospectors' lives. It's said that she found gold near the mission, but never told anyone, as the padre said it was the only source of income the mission had. Do you have any problems with that?
No, that's a nice thing to do.
She never told anyone. How the fuck do we know then?
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't feel like he's going around telling people, if she had she could have told everyone that I have loads of gold.
And I told her this is the only money we have.
It's
and
her.
She didn't say anything.
She's sliding out little rumours. She's deceitful, I think. It's all that Christian. It's a Christian good deeds.
It's all just branding.
It's a front.
Sure.
Yeah. But
why didn't he just own the mine?
He did. He's a padre.
So why,
he had to send all that money back to Rome.
Of course.
The stories about her are a bit mad, kind of stuff of legend. So it's hard to know what's truth and what's kind of myth, or maybe lies that she made up. The swine. What's more likely is they went down there and the rush had dried up, so they just went home.
Yeah, that's not a good story though, is it?
No, it's not as good as.
Remember that time we went somewhere to do something and then we didn't, and then we went home. That's not as good as secret gold mines and padres.
True. Golden padres.
There.
Yeah. However, another story, this time on the way back, says that she tied up the drunken captain of a boat they were riding on and took command of the vessel before landing them safely in Guaymas, Guaymas.
Yeah, you nailed it.
There we go. That's how I can read out letters in a in a row. The captain pressed charges once he was sober, but Nellie used her wit and charm to get off scot-free before returning to Tombstone.
Very good.
She finally left Tombstone in 1886, making her way all across Canada and the US, hopping from town to town, raising the kids and setting up new businesses as she went along, before eventually heading north again, once more, up to Canada. Coin flip there between there and South Africa for diamonds. That was her two options.
Sure, I mean...
went to Canada instead. This time to the Yukon in 1898, when the Klondike Gold Rush started. She established another restaurant and bar in Dawson and a grocery store in the town of Fairbanks. She got to Dawson by floating on a raft in spring along the Yukon for 500 miles.
Okay, why not?
Yeah, I can see in your face now you're kind of dubious. You think that might be a lie as well.
She's got 5 kids, and she's just on a raft for 500 miles down the Yukon.
They're not her kids. Maybe
so it's fine.
She might not
really
give a shit.
Yeah.
She did, it was...
Much easier to raise children if you don't give a shit.
Yeah, and I did say earlier, it wasn't the life for her. These aren't the kids. She didn't want these kids.
Yeah.
By this stage, she was in her late 50s, early 60s. That didn't stop her from moving north once more, this time to Nolan's Creek, a remote part of Alaska that's 60 miles north of...
A remote part of Alaska?
Yeah,
redundant in 98.
Anchorage may have been a bustling town at the time,
Maybe.
I don't know. But it's about 60 miles north of the Arctic Circle. It was there she became known as Champion Woman Musher of the Yukon, after she ran a dog sled team 750 miles from Nolan's Creek to Anchorage in just 17 days.
Okay. Why? Just for the fun of it?
Maybe she wanted to be known as Champion Woman Musher of the Yukon.
Musher of the Yukon. Yeah, that's a pretty cool title. Now, here's a business question for you. How the hell is she keeping all these businesses going in 1890? So she's setting up a business, goes to the next town, sets up another one. Is she getting any money from these places? How is she keeping in contact with them?
Well, I think it's because the gold rush would stay for a while, and then she would take all of the resources from the miners. Well, she gives most of it for free, seemingly.
Sure.
But she would make as much as she could. Once the gold dried up, just move on to the next town, shut down the business, off to the next place.
Okay.
Do you have any business ideas for
any business ideas for miners?
Yeah.
It's an old one, but a classic. Prostitutes.
I was going to tell them to stay in school.
You know the guys, Levi Jeans. They started off in the gold rush town.
I thought you were going to say they started as prostitutes.
Funny story about the Levi brothers.
Couldn't keep the jeans on.
No. After a while, the Johns were like, what's this stuff on the ground? it's jeans, apparently. They used to, they made them out of canvas or something. That's what I'd do if I was in a mining town. I'd invent Levi's jeans.
Do you think that's where the idea of like a pebble dashed jeans came from?
Yeah, that's probably it.
Semen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's their seminal work.
Ho ho! That's why we pay you nothing at all. We are still looking for sponsors.
Yeah. I have a sponsor. His name's Dennis. He wants me to stop drinking so much.
Now, Nellie, it sounds like she's a travelling lady, kind of refuses to settle down.
Yeah.
But that's not the case, because in 1923, finally does.
Whoa, okay. How old is she then?
55 and 23, Kevin?
Yeah, she's an old lady.
Yes. She'd
Very
be 78.
Yeah.
Now she would stay in Victoria, British Columbia, where she settles down. So she would stay there for 2 years before succumbing to pneumonia and dying in the same hospital that she raised the funds for 50 years beforehand.
Oh, that's ironic.
That's a callback straight to the...
There you go.
Now,
it's not irony at all. Do you reckon on her deathbed she was like, I built this hospital, and they all just thought she was nuts.
And they just didn't give a shit.
No, didn't care.
Yeah.
You got pneumonia, you're 78, you're dead, okay? Get out of here.
If you had have kept that money for yourself and lived a better life, you wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
When asked by a reporter from the Arizona Star why she never married, Nellie replied, "Why, child, I was about to do the like a southern accent for some reason. She's from Cork.
She's from Cork, but she probably lost it a little bit.
But why, child, I haven't had the time for marriage. Men are a nuisance anyhow. Now aren't they? They're just boys growing up."
I like it.
Well, do you want to do a version of that in Cork? I'll let you read.
Or fucking child having a chance to get married, you know, boys are nuisance anyway. I fucking only, so what for men, only boys growing up, you know what I mean? Right.
Now, just to be fair, for any of our foreign listeners, that's a 100% spot on Cork accent.
It's so accurate, it's crazy. I may as well be a pint of Beamish, you know.
I'll have a quick run through some of her nicknames. We've already had the Angel of Cassiar.
Yeah, pretty catchy. Hard to beat that one.
How about the Angel of Mercy?
No, okay, they bet it.
Yeah.
It's even better.
Well, she had numerous names throughout all the mining camps and places where she would have lived. She had also been known as the Frontier Angel, my favourite,
very angel specific here.
the Saint of the Sourdoughs.
Did she save bread?
Well, she had all these restaurants and places for lads to stay, so I probably would have baked quite a lot.
This is a late time to bring this up, but did you say her first restaurant was called Del Monaco or something?
Yes.
The hell's that about? She's from Cork, and wasn't the restaurant in the middle of America?
Yeah, but it's probably before Irish tourism would have hit its peak.
Yeah,
and
she couldn't call it O'Reilly's back then.
Just call it whatever people want. Maybe it was a big thing at the time.
Yeah, people always wanted. People love Monaco.
You pull up a big gripe with that. You didn't even know who Doc Holliday was. Fucking Philistine.
Fair enough. Fine.
Miner's Angel.
Yeah.
We've already had the Angel of Cassiar.
There's too many angel ones.
The Angel of Tombstone.
That's pretty
She
good.
was a fucking saint, Kevin.
Yeah, she was a saint. She's not dead. Stop calling her an angel, you know? I wouldn't like that.
Well, she's dead now. I suppose
She's dead now.
these were the nicknames or monikers she would have had during her time alive.
When she was alive, they were just like the live woman of Cassiar. And now that she's dead, they've changed it retroactively.
Well, saint. Can you be a saint when you're still alive?
No.
No. Maybe. No.
No.
Do you have to die?
Oh, you have to be dead. You have to be long dead. You have to be canonized.
Is that why I'm not one yet?
It is. I'm going to shoot you out of a cannon someday. And then they'll have to let you in.
You're going to shoot me straight into heaven.
Yeah. That sounds like a country song. Well, I put myself in a cannon, gonna shoot myself to heaven.
If heaven wasn't so far away, I'd... Can I finish the line?
Drive my pickup truck there for the day.
Yes.
Well, myself and Jason are quoting, of course, Justin Trudeau's "If Heaven Weren't So Far Away."
You said Justin Trudeau.
No, I said Justin Trudeau, but I can't remember his
It
name.
was Justin Moore.
Justin Moore.
If heaven weren't so far away.
Yeah. It's the best country song you'll ever listen to. Turn this off and then go listen to that.
Or I'll use it as the outro.
Oh, yes, please.
In 2006, Nellie was inducted into the Alaska Mining Hall of Fame, and in 2007 was inducted into the National Cowgirl Hall of Fame.
Well, yeehaw. That's pretty cool.
I imagine, I was going to say possibly the only Irish woman to be in the Cowgirl Hall of Fame. You'd imagine. I did, in researching this story, realize we could have done an entire season on Irish people in the West.
I thought...
Like that guy who died because of the Bisbee massacre, Dan Kelly.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say in this research you looked up the Cowgirl Hall of Fame and got an awful lot of different results.
Oh no, I have those tabs saved.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, so that's it. What do you think of Nellie Cashman?
I really like her. She's cool.
I've given you 40 odd minutes of gold.
Yeah.
See?
That was pretty good. Well done.
Gold rush. And you've just said it was pretty good. I think she's cool.
I do think she's cool.
I slaved over this story for
like
a good
hot stove.
2 hours.
Yeah. It's, well, you seem annoyed at me that I'm not giving you more praise rather than her.
Yeah.
Yeah. You did a great job as well.
Thanks, man.
Retelling the story. I don't know if you're trying to clap.
That's Kevin patting me on the back.
There you go.
It wasn't.
That's badass. Traveling around through snow, desert, on a river. She lived in Tombstone, Arizona. That's pretty cool. It's cooler than anything you've ever done.
Yeah, I slept in a van in Edinburgh for a week.
Yeah, that's true. That wasn't pretty cool. It was very warm, if anything.
Did the church do anything for themselves, or did it just depend on the nicety or the kindness of their flock?
What do you mean? Yeah,
she did everything.
Yeah,
to the point of which in Tombstone she had to hear confessions of two men because there seemed just no priest around.
And I suppose she got nothing in return, Jason. Oh no, wait, the salvation of her eternal soul. You know, that's what they do. What's money? You know, it's just little bits of gold and silver. Yeah, do you know? Yeah, so our notion of like what a cowboy is completely off. They didn't do anything.
They did very little with cows. They mainly rode on horses.
They didn't wear those big hats. They wore like little bowler hats.
No.
Yeah, look them up. You ever see it? Because you think about any photo you've seen from that time of a cowboy. They're wearing little bowler hats. They don't wear the tents and hats.
They're not the cowboys though. They're the people who live in the town. Maybe they're the prospectors.
No, they're just guys who like go out. Like, there's nothing romantic about just living in a field, herding cattle, with a couple of men living in a shed together.
In cowboy country, in Texas, everyone there is still wearing the hats and the boots with the spurs and tassels.
They wear them now.
Yeah,
they didn't wear them back in the day.
No, but I suppose it's much like the people who lads who try to dress up like Peaky Blinders.
Yeah.
But like, if you go back and look at what those men look like,
yeah,
you don't want to dress like that.
They weren't Cillian Murphy.
No, they were not at all, and their suits were no way tailored like that. Their haircuts were probably done by their ma with a bowl.
This is the real heart of the podcast. What about Peaky Blinder fades?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fashion. And why does every fella have to have the same haircut? Oh no, I can't go down to that barber's. I only go up here to Grafton Barber, or I go up to Dan. Where'd you get your haircut? In Barbier. I only go up to Barbier. It's like, you're all getting the same fucking haircut. Anyone can do it.
Nah, man. Walks. That's the only place they can cut this, style this mane.
Yeah, I want to go in there and lads who bring in, like, you know, here's a photo of what I want. You don't need a photo. Just go in and say, I'll have what the guy before me got.
I love, every time I'm sitting in there, you always hear people be like, can I get a 3 on the sides and 2 on the top? And they're like, yeah, of course. Same haircut.
Yeah, you're all.
I have no idea what. I go in there and say something different every time. Get the haircut.
Yeah.
It's a great haircut.
Yeah.
I used to get my haircut by a man called Bucky Lawless back in Dundalk.
Bucky Lawless?
Yeah, Bucky Lawless. There was another barber's. There was a barber's in town. My brother went to him, and his hair was down to like his ears. And your man was like, I don't cut hair that long.
I respect that man though.
But like, why? My brother told me that story, so I don't know if it was him saying like, nah man, don't cut hair that long, get out of here, or it was just he couldn't bring himself to do it. Like Samson's mane, he said, like, I've got an oath, I can't cut hair that long. Get out of here, you beautiful haired man.
All of his power came from his Android phone.
Yes.
Right, I think that's enough for Nellie Cashman.
Sure. I really like Nellie Cashman. I think she's pretty cool.
And anything about the research I've put into it?
Average.
Cheers.
Yeah.
See you next week.
He brushed over a lot of really cool sounding things, and I like that. Good luck.
Hey, it's just Jason again, dropping back in to tell you I'm going to play you out with this song I found about Nellie Cashman from Bernie Griffin, the Rhythm Riders. It's called Nellie Cashman.
Nellie Cashman, where do you come from? Nellie Cashman, where do you come from? She says, Boston boys, I was bound to leave, so I came to California, yay. Still my home's across the Irish Sea. Nellie Cashman, how did you come out west? Nellie Cashman, how did you come out west? She says, I came on that newfangled train through the Rockies and Sierra came, and I saw the buffalo one day. Nellie Cashman, why do you go to the miners' mines? Nellie Cashman, why do you go to the miners' mines? She says, I go to bring the greens and limes, for the miner does not eat so fine, and a stitch in time it does save 9. You're the angel of the miners, the saint of the sourdoughs. Wherever there's poor or needy, that's where dear Nellie goes. She wanted to strike it rich for sure, and she did so, I've been told. But the ore that shines in the miners' mines is no match for her heart of gold. Nellie Cashman, why do you strike for gold? Nellie Cashman, why do you strike for gold? She says, I must be brave and I must be bold, for the diggings they can leave you cold, and I'll be rich before I'm old. Nellie Cashman, at Coldfoot you struck gold. Nellie Cashman, at Coldfoot you struck gold. Yes, I struck gold, but the Chillicoot Pass will surely drain your courage fast. But you get to Dawson alive at last. Nellie Cashman, angel of the mother lode. Nellie Cashman, angel of the mother lode. You helped the miners mighty fine, you brought them cheer and healthful times. You're the one that shines in the miners' minds. You're the angel of the miners, the saint of the sourdoughs. Whenever there's poor or needy, that's where dear Nellie goes. She wanted to strike it rich for sure, and she did so, I've been told. But the ore that shines in the miners' mines is no match for her heart of gold. No, the ore that shines in the miners' mines is no match for her heart of gold.